For 5 minutes at a time, they've been recorded diving up to depths of 67 metres. They can also spend days and sometimes weeks at a time away from land, and they do this simply by having a little rest on the surface of the water if they need to. They don't have any trouble at all keeping themselves afloat. They're neither nocturnal and neither are they diurnal animals. They're known as polyphasic. That means they're active throughout the day and the night, and to keep themselves going over the 24 hours, they'll simply have a few minutes sleep every hour or so. So whether they're out at sea or on land, they'll have a quick snooze, and that's enough to keep them going. They also drink the seawater. They don't need any fresh water at all to survive. Penguins, along with lots of other seabirds, have their own inbuilt desalination plant. So right at the base of their beak, in between their eyes, is a very special little salt gland. They'll use that salt gland to extract all of that salt that they get from the ocean water that they drink. And to get rid of it, they simply sneeze it out through their nostrils. So if you do see any of our penguins sneezing away or shaking their heads, you don't need to worry. They're not sick, they're just getting rid of all of that excess salt from their bodies. They can live to up to 20 years of age, so our piggy at 16 still has a few years left in him, but generally out in the wild, it's no longer than 15 years. Most of their life is spent out at sea. They do have to come to land to breed, however, and breeding occurs mainly during the months of June to November. So by June, all of our wild penguins will have returned to the island and found their partners. They do like to try and mate with the same partner year after year if they can. However, if a breeding event is unsuccessful, they will divorce their partner, find another one and try again. And here on Penguin Island, we have an annual divorce rate of around 20% each year. They need really highly vegetated areas in order to breed. So all those nice thick bushes that you see all around Penguin Island are just decorations. They're very important for the penguins who nest here. This is Piggy. Under all those bushes are hundreds and hundreds of penguin nests. They'll make a shallow depression under a nice thick bit of vegetation, and that's where they'll lay 2 little white eggs, about the same size as a chicken egg. Those eggs are incubated for 5 weeks, and both mum and dad are fantastic parents, and they both will take turns every few days in incubating those eggs and also looking after the chicks when the penguins hatch. The little penguin chicks will stay in the nest, that was close, for around 8 to 10 weeks. And at this stage, parents stop being so wonderful, and one night they simply don't come home. So they abandon their chicks all on their own. Eventually, they will make their own way out to the ocean and begin living their life as a little penguin, completely independent of their parents. So unfortunately, they don't have mum and dad to take them out and show them what to do. They have to go out there and learn it all on their own. Because of this, only 3 in 10 little penguin chicks will actually survive in their first year. I think Piggy might be done. It's got its back to me, it's a pretty good sign. After they finish breeding, our penguins do disappear out to sea for a short period, but they must return for another very important land-based activity, and this is known as molting. Unlike most birds, penguins can't replace their feathers continually throughout the year. It has to be done all at one time. This is skip. So our molting normally happens during a 2 or 3 week period right in the middle of summer. So December or January, our penguins will return to the island one more time, find a nice shady spot under a bush or in the caves or under a boardwalk somewhere, and begin replacing all of their old feathers with new ones. It's probably the best time of year to come and see wild penguins here on the island, and those of you who may have visited us here around Christmas time will have noticed lots of very, very fat, very fluffy and kind of depressed looking penguins about the place. It is unfortunately for our penguins the most stressful and vulnerable time of year for them. While they're molting, they can't swim. They're completely land bound for the entire 2 or 3 weeks that it will take them to change those feathers. You can imagine we do get some pretty hot days here over summer, and on those days our penguins don't go down into the water and have a little drink or a cool down, so that can be quite stressful on their bodies. More importantly though, because they can't swim, they can't fish, so they don't eat for 2 or 3 weeks. They do prepare for that, however, and prior to their molt they'll go on extended fishing trips and eat as many fish as they can, and it's quite common for our birds in here as well as those out in the wild to increase their body weight from an average of 1